Hi and hello, movie fans. I hope all is well with you wherever you are in the world today, and welcome. This is Annihilation, and I am your host, Admiral Trench. Please remember to like and subscribe and share with your friends. I hope you enjoy. Now, I'd like to get into this analysis, but before I do, I'd just like to give you a brief history about how I got into this movie. There was a book club where I work for this book, and I had happened to have already seen the movie, so I watched it again, and then I went into the book club not having read the book and discovered that it's okay if you hadn't read the book because there's very few differences, and they all agreed that the book is better, but the movie is quite good. So, for all of you out there who are wondering, that's what I'm told. Now, I want to tell you about my experience at that book club, but I'm going to wait to the end of this analysis to get into that. Now, I am a little choppy. I don't have any sophisticated editing software or anything like that. I'm just going to do slideshow stuff, so bear with me on that, okay? So let's just get into this. I like to look at the movie title. Oh, you know what? I have one more side note. I'm expecting a phone call from the doctor. I might just have to completely cancel this and start all over again. Um, and also, I might be getting a text message from my wife. So if you hear my phone go off, I apologize. I'm not putting my phone on mute, even for this recording. I apologize. Just I need to be able to hear my phone right now. So I hope there's no interruption, but it might happen. If that happens, I'll just start all over again. Anyways, let's do this. I like to look at the title of the movie and see if I can find any meaning in the title. I look at Annihilation, and right there, smack dab in the middle, is nihil. Okay, now if you break that down further, you get nil. That means nothing. There's a whole philosophy about the meaning of nothing. It's called nihilism. So right there, nihil, nihilism. It's like that, right? So annihilation just means nothing. All right, so let's go with that in mind. Let's get into this analysis. The protagonist loves life. We know this because she's a biologist, a studier of life and that which makes life. But our protagonist is not living a life as a person who loves life would. Depressed, having an affair, she's literally and figuratively distant from her husband, feeling hopeless and washed out. And the movie makes this point by giving you washed out colors and scenes of black and white, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And I highlighted colorless on my note page here to emphasize that point. Now, she is sent in to Area X through the shimmer. And I highlighted the word shimmer because that is a word to describe that which is highlighted. Okay. Now, this colorful wall I have behind me, that's an actual picture of the shimmer wall from the movie. Now, passing through the shimmer wall, the main character, is like giving life to her, i.e., giving birth. You see, the shimmer is feminine in this trait. It's a large, bulbous, colorful wall, and within it is all this mysterious life. So it's literally pregnant with life, okay? And so because she walked into the shimmer wall, she's a part of that life now. All right, so the wall is feminine, and that is important to note because of another detail later on in the movie. So bear with me on that. Just put a pin in it for now. The color refracting imbues life into the protagonist. She's literally sent in to save all of life, including her husband, thus saving her marriage, maybe, and saving her own life in the process. From this book, I believe it's asking us to examine, perhaps as a biologist may, the meaning and importance of life. Specifically, though, human life. But what is human distinct from life in general? Now, here's where we're going to get into my 2 cents. I say consciousness is the distinction. Consciousness. Oh, I should just let you know, I didn't put this in my notes, but I'll let you know right now. I got most of this from reading different books about consciousness, but one in particular called The Consciousness Instinct, written by Dr. Gazaniga. So, with that in mind, let's proceed. Consciousness is the human instinct to create symbols to describe our sensorium experiences, i.e., qualia. Symbols are metaphors, and all words are metaphors. But what is a metaphor? Well, it's really quite simple. We'll break it down 3 ways. 1. The object one tries to describe plus 2. The word used to describe it equals 3. The idea conceived when 1 and 2 converge. You see, and I used conception to imply birth. You see, something new has been created, and it's turtles all the way down into infinity. Your mind will do this with everything you look at or feel or sense through qualia. You will have an object plus 2 equals 3, which is when 1 and 2 converge, you get 3 into infinity. It just does that again and again and again, like a loop, like this Celtic spiral into infinity. And it's turtles all the way down. Okay, so with that said, let's proceed, shall we? Okay. To be or not to be, that is the question. Area X, as I see it, is the metaphor for this human life with all its mysterious beauty and danger when one chooses to be. Let's examine for a moment the lighthouse. The lighthouse is symbolic of hope, but also note its phallic masculine shape. The masculine lighthouse, combined with the feminine shimmer wall, is the metaphor that not only creates life, but infuses hope into it, which gives life its purposeful meaning. Yes, you see, that's why earlier I said put a pin in it, because it's the masculine wall, that pregnant thing, and this phallic masculine lighthouse, these two things together, you get life and hope, which give it meaning, purposeful meaning. Okay? Now, this next step is crucial to understanding the symbols of the film. The skeletal remains marked outside the lighthouse depicts the death of hope, thus the death of meaning, thus death overall. The psychological horror of this story is in its conclusion not to be. The protagonist gives in to the beck and call of the alien, which is symbolic of death. After all, what is more alien than death, that undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns? She allows the alien, i.e. death, to take over her life and becomes one with death through her unaliving herself. She is no longer human, and there will be no more humanity. All right, now let's come right back up to the title page. Annihilation is the end to the story because the protagonist concludes life is not worth saving, thus not worth living, thus making the story properly horrific because that is bad as opposed to life being good in it and of itself. But that's not all, folks. If you just subscribe and like and share with your friends, then we can do this awesome speech from Independence Day, which is the exact opposite message of this film. And there's even a line of dialogue in the speech from the president of the movie where he actually says the word annihilation in a most perfect way. Just hang tight and listen to this.
Good morning. In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind, Words should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interest. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution,
Here it is.
but from annihilation.
Yes.
We're fighting for our right to live,
Hmm.
to exist.
Yes.
And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive.
Yeah.
Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Woo! Okay, right on. So I don't want to go too far with that. I just wanted to let you know that the point of that movie is the exact opposite of the point of the movie Annihilation. They're saving humanity from annihilation, whereas Annihilation is an embracing of it. So another thing I was thinking about too in regards to this film, this story, is I read some time ago this book where please, I beg your pardon. I'm getting over a bit of a cough, so please bear with me. Excuse me. I had read some time ago this book called The Clan of the Cave Bear by a woman. She was living in Oregon at the time, and she did all this research up on Mount Hood, I believe, and all this stuff. And the story is so interesting. Now, I read only the first and second book of the series. It's a whole series. For my tastes, it got a little weird, but the first book is really quite good, and it started to not become good anymore by the second book, just my opinion. But yeah, the premise of the first book is that you have a human baby being raised by Neanderthals, and at first the Neanderthals, they want to cast the baby out because it's different. It looks different. They're not used to it, and they notice it's just like it's an alien to them. And they want to do the morally right thing. A mother looks at it and wants to raise it as her own. She wants to have a baby of her own. And as they're raising this baby, they're noticing all these mysterious things, things that are seemingly impossible are happening, just like what's taking place within the Shimmer Wall. All these life forms, all these things that are seemingly impossible are happening. And in the Clan of the Cave Bear, this baby, this human child that's got a higher intellect, better vernacular, it is more articulate, it has more language abilities, and can do more things, create better tools, and so on and so forth. It's far more sophisticated and advanced. And it makes you wonder that had these Neanderthals known that they were raising what would become their replacement, would they have done that? Would they have raised this baby? Maybe it can't be helped. Maybe that's just how life works. Maybe this is just the next step and there's no real deciding about it, and that's just how it's going to be. And so that makes you wonder about this movie, because the alien is the symbol of death, because that's exactly what it is. Whatever it is that is taking over humanity is casting away everything that makes humanity human. In my opinion, it's our consciousness. That's going to be gone now, okay? And whatever's going to be in its place will be wildly and radically different beyond our wildest dreams and imagination. And that's what Area X represents. Of course, it's peculiar and dangerous and strange. We don't know what we're looking at. It doesn't make any sense. It might make sense to some other elevated being, this alien known as death, or at least as I see it, it's death. But as far as we're concerned, that's what it is. We just don't know. We can't suss it out. It's beyond our grasp. Now, Independence Day, there's aliens too. They also represent death, but the humans of that story are fighting for humanity. They're fighting to save what makes us human. That's why that speech is so beautifully written, so beautifully given. So, yeah. All right. So I guess that's about all I have to say about the film, but the movie itself is really quite good. And I did just want to go on a side note because Gina Rodriguez, I love her in the show called Jane the Virgin. And what was so much fun about watching her character in this movie is she's tough as nails, a gun toting, like total badass military woman. Like she's just t- tough and hardcore, right? And her character in Jane the Virgin, she's bubbly, she's soft, she's lovable and fun and smiley, and it's just she's really awesome. Okay, so with that being said, I've got to go because I'm getting the phone call I need. So bye for now, everyone. Thanks for checking in. Bye. Hello.